So right now I'm just gonna be starting with covering the little eye white. You might be wondering why I'm doing this. It's just for the sake of tweening. You can do whatever you like, but I like to do this because it's just really helpful for me when I'm doing whatever. Now make sure you cover the eyeball really well so it doesn't show at the end. Feel free to erase anything you don't like from the eye white and change it to your own version, but I'm just gonna keep it simple. Feel free to use the little eyedropper tool to drop the color you need. You can also use bucket tool for when you're covering some stuff that you don't want to go in for. So just click the bucket tool and then click it. And here I'm just going to be using the little magic tool and doing what I did at the beginning to remove the background, and that is to click clear layer. I click it a few times because it really doesn't clear it very well sometimes, and I use the eraser to erase the rest of it. Here I'm just fixing it here and there. I don't know how to explain it that well. It's kind of my workflow. Can't really explain anything. Now I'm just going to do the same thing to the other eye. It's really up to you again how you like to do things. This is my personal workflow and I work a lot faster than this, but for the sake of the tutorial, I'm going to do this. Now what I'm just going to do now is again covering the whole entire eyeball and everything. I know my phone's really laggy. I can't really find a reason why or help it, so it's just gonna be like this. Now you can feel free to erase anything you don't like. I personally just erase the eyelash or whatever I have that's not the eye white and the mouth. I remove the mouth because I really don't need it. I usually do lip syncing, so it's completely different. I'll just keep erasing and erasing. If you're new to your program, you might want to practice around it first and then do this, but it's really up to you. Now just again erase. I prefer erasing tool instead of just like magic wanding sometimes because magic wand really isn't the best choice sometimes. Now turn off the visibility of the white layer and go into the next one. Now you just want to now erase everything else but the eyeball. The eyeball is exactly the thing we need. Like we know eye tweening. I mainly call it eye tweening, although it's really eyeball tweening, but whatever. This tutorial will also cover how to do blinking, like the title says. But anyways, going back into the full tutorial, what I'm going to be doing now is just redrawing the top of the eyeball because it doesn't, come with it. And when you tween it, it looks really good when you have the full eyeball. Free for the shader or whatever, I don't really shade my eyes for tweening. I just think it's a little extra. I keep it quite plain, but it's really up to you. Free for turn on the stabilizer. I don't like stabilizer, it's just my preference though. Now here I'm just fixing up the people. I'm going to be using force feed. Now, I'm not going to go in depth of how to use IBIS Paint. I'm just going to expect you know how to use IBIS Paint because that's going to be the one program we're going to be using. If you don't, feel free to go ahead and watch a few tutorials and come back. Now here I'm just going to be erasing and erasing, that's the main point in this. Again, I'm erasing the mouth because I like doing lip syncing. And now feel free to eyedrop the color of the liner. If you're using Gacha Club, this is gonna be a big do for you, but if you're using Gacha Life, most of the eye will have a black lining, so you don't have to matter. Now, again, I'm just gonna fix up the pupil and everything. Sorry, it's one and I can't voice over very well. I need water. Anyways, now turn off the visibility of the eyeball layer and move on to the next. This next one is a little extra. Not all eyes have this, but the one I'm using is one that I use quite a lot. So yeah, and we're gonna be erasing everything but that little circle or line that I just made a circle around. And erase literally everything. Absolutely everything. And once you have erased it, you should just see this line. It might seem really stupid, but it's really helpful to fill the whole look of the eye you're using. Now feel free to do your other eye now. I'm a little behind on this voiceover. I'm tired, okay? But you can just erase whatever and it will do the same job. And I'm just gonna erase the mouth here so I don't look like a complete idiot when it comes to lip syncing. Moving on to the next. This one is a little extra. I had to do it because it's useful for me, but we're gonna be leaving this little triangle thing right under the eyelid. It is extremely good for when you're tweeting on mobile. If you're using live tweet, you can go ahead and skip this. You can just use a rotation deformer, or mesh deformer, path thingies, whatever. But it's not this going to be a mobile tutorial. I'm just going to show you exactly how I do things. And now erase everything but that. That is going to be just a little extra for my type of eye. If you don't have this, completely skip this. I don't know a lot of eyes that don't have this. Other than some that look really weird, but they still look great. But I'm just going to be using these simple eyes for this tutorial. Now again, erase everything but that black thing. Might seem really stupid. Again, it's just for my own preference. Completely up to you. You can also just include this for part of like the little line we did earlier, but I don't like that. Now right after that, go into the next layer and turn it on. Instead of closing the bottom layer, click on the top layer again and lower that little thingy in the layer. So you see that little gradient from black to white, you want to move it towards the 40 something to make the opacity or transparency lighter. That way you can see the layer right under it and how there is that little like, triangle thingy. Now, sorry, I can't talk. You're gonna erase that little triangle thing. You won't see you erasing it because, again, it's a layer underneath. But just try your best to be as accurate as you can when it comes to this. Just erase it. And then erase everything else but the eyelid. Now we're doing the eyelid because that's really important for the blinking. Completely up to you. If you don't want to do blinking and you just want to keep your character's eyes dry, go ahead. But I prefer doing blinking just for the natural look. Feel free to smooth things out. Clicking on undo button is always my favorite. Now erase the other side and do whatever you want. Now I like to do it so many layers. I know it's kind of stupid, but it's really, really important for me to have that many layers just because it's just easier for me. But if you're a beginner, you can completely skip this blinking step. Or if your device is low on space, you can definitely skip this for sure. And once it's fixed, I'm just gonna erase the mouth here. Me stupid idiot didn't erase it again. There we go. Now click that little triangle layer that I'm just gonna hide. Click that plus button, that's add layer, and then lower that layer. Drop menu thingy down. Now we're gonna be drawing a patch of flesh. That sounds disgusting, but it's gonna help, trust me. Now feel free to just eye drop your color, but I don't have the skin color on the screen, so I'm just gonna be making my own that I have already in my color palette. Oh, this part's gonna be a little weird, but you draw a big circle around the eyelid. You might be like, Natalie, what is this for? Well, you know, it's for blanking. The reason why I'm doing this is because since the layer is going to be merged with the eyelid layer later, which I'm going to show you how to do, you are going to be needing this to blank, because we don't got live 2D, we don't got that rotational deformer, we don't got whatever. So we're just going to be using plain Q-cut and animation, right? See. So now just draw a big patch around it and then just bucket it down. Sorry, I really can't talk. And to check if everything's good, turn on the visibility of all the layers. Click the little skin patch layer, and then click this little navigator thing on the side you'll see near the trash can on the flip thing. And you can see if it fits. Now to merge it, just click that little button right above the trash can, and you'll see when you move it that it will match perfectly. Now this step is really extra, but I'm just going to be lassoing them like this using the lasso tool around a circle. Clicking the layer menu again, clicking the little plus square button, and then click duplicate layer. You will see when you duplicate it, it only duplicates the part you lassoed, which is really helpful for me, for my workflow, so everything is in one piece. But it's really helpful for beginners as well to make sure where the layers are. Now here I'm just going to be doing this thing. This is just going to help you for when you're going to be tweening. Here I'm just fixing up some stuff here and there, you don't have to mind that. And now I'm going to be doing it with the eyeball. Muscle tool, copying, and then duplicating the layer. And then you'll be good. And then of course going back to the layer underneath. And then clicking clear layer, or the little trigger box on the top. And then click lower again. Now deselect. Now, I'm not going to be separating the little triangles on the side nor the line underneath her eyes because that's really not necessary. They're just there for the sake of the eye. Now go back to the layer where you have the eyelids and do the same. And once you have that, you can have a single layer. Now I've gotten a lot of comments on how do you save them transparently? Well, it's really simple. You click on the layer you want to save transparently, and then you click the little 3 dots in the corner. That's going to help you show a bunch of stuff, but just click the very bottom, save layer as transparent PNG. Now click on the next layer, and then save. This is just going to help you for when you're tweening, so you don't have random backgrounds, which I've gotten loads of comments for. Then you just click the little back arrow and click back to gallery to save it. Now just go ahead and exit Abyss Paint and open Q-Cut for the next step. So first of all, what you want to do now is just double click on your eye and move the little circle thingy to the eyeball. Now click the little magic wand tool and a menu will pop up. And now click the plus and click custom transition. Now as you can see, you now have a transition and you're not able to move it anymore if you exit. To get back into it, feel free to click the magic wand and you'll be back to your transition. So what you want to do now is click on the second arrow of your transition, so there should be 2 arrows, and move it to one side. Move the eyeball to one side, sorry. And then you can add another transition right after and move it the other way. And you're able to now see that there are 2 transitions going 2 different ways. So here I'm just showing you how to do one for now, and soon I'll be doing the other. Feel free to change any what's it called? Easing types. If you want to. I didn't. I just left it as smooth. I just showed you what others would look like, but I would prefer smooth. Now click the other transition like I said earlier by clicking the plus sign. You should just have this menu thingy, and just if you scroll to the easing type, just scroll back and then click custom transition. Now on your second transition, you want to move it the complete opposite direction. That way it will look like your character's eyes are moving and it'll look pretty smooth. Now as you can see, the eyeball is perfectly moving. You may have to do some experiments about where you want them to go, but I'm just going to show you my workflow on how to edit my eyes. For my speed, you can definitely slow it down if you're a beginner or you just want to make sure everything's precise. And voila! Here I'm just showing you how you can move the eyeball up and down, and I'm just going to move it back to more normal, sorry. And you can also make it smaller or different expressions, but I'm just going to keep it pretty normal. Sorry about my extremely laggy phone. When I'm screen recording, it just becomes really laggy. And now let's do the eyelids for the blinking. Blinking to me looks really nice, and doing it like this is probably the best way. So double click on your eyelid and then you want to add a custom transition again. I don't prefer using any other ones, completely up to you though. Now click custom transition. On the second transition, you want to lower your little eye patch thing, and then when you play it, it should go down. Now scroll through the menu of the top bar and you want to go find easing in. It should be in one row and it should have like a little curve. And yeah, it's basically on the first column. It should be a curve from the bottom to up, I believe, like curling up. And that's the one you want to use. And you'll see that it will slowly go down instead. And then now click another custom transition, and using the second transition, move it back up. You might have to do a bunch of adjusting to make it perfect, but it's really up to you. Now on your second transition this time, scroll down the menu and go find easing circular out. Now it's the one right beside circular and it is a curve also from bottom but over instead. I don't know how to explain it, but it looks like this. It has a little curve going upwards, but like a little hover kind of, and that's what it will look like. And I'm just fixing some stuff to make sure it's smooth. You'll see it really laggy on your screen because my phone is old, so. And voila! Now on your second eyeball, and you want to make another transition, moving downwards. and then change the easing types, and then add another transition. I'm doing it a little faster here just so the video won't be over 40 minutes. Now you just want to do the same thing. You might have to fix stuff here and there. And boom, you got your best eye blinking. I know a lot of people do those eyes and then turns into those like upside down like line eyes from Gacha Life or Gacha Club. But to me, it doesn't look really smooth, doesn't look natural either, so I'm just gonna keep it like this. And the animation's done. I'm just gonna be adding the patch of skin and making it bigger so I can show you what I mean by it will camouflage kind of into the skin you're doing. I made my own skin tone, so I'm using my own skin tone, of course. You can also make the background that color, but it's really hard to get it correctly. Now I'm just gonna move the background upwards. And as you can see, it looks pretty transparent at the top. As you can see, you won't be able to see any piece of flesh. And it's really nice if you're animating like this, because you can just put the hair over it and like sway it a bit to make sure it doesn't go. Now for Alight motion. For Alight motion, it's pretty much the same, but so just open a project, click the plus in the corner, and add each of the layers again. Always start with the Always start with the bottom layer and move up. Sorry, I really can't talk. Now you just want to keep building up the layers with all of them. And now you should see this. Now here is all the layers I have together. I have a bunch, but it's really up to you. Now for your eye layer, click the little like move and transform button, and you should see this menu here. Make sure you stay on the first one with the navigator. Now click the little diamond thing on the side right under the quit little arrow, and then wherever you want your blink to be, click another one. Now in the middle, or wherever your second keyframe is, you want to move it. You make sure you don't move it on the screen, and you move it on the little box it gives you for the move and transform. And voila, you have successfully moved an eye. Now I'm just gonna do another one at the end to show you. Basically the same edit I made in CuteCut. So again, at the end, click a keyframe, and then move it the other way. And as you can see, now we have this little eye transition. Now I'm just gonna do the same for the other eye, but a little sped up, so this video doesn't again go over 40 minutes. And voila. Now for the blinking. I know my voiceover is ahead, I don't know why, but basically for the blinking, it's basically the same, but there's a little difference with the graph. So again, click on your eye patch thingy layer, open your move and transform, and click a transition again with your keyframes. Now you want to move it downwards, and if it shows a red line, it means you're moving it exactly straight down. Now you'll have to click this little graph looking thing right under your keyframe button. And as you can see, you'll see that. Now pull these to the side, to the right left hand corner. So just move the little white ball things onto the side and do a right handed corner. Sorry, I really can't talk right now. And then add another transition at the end and move it back up. This is great practice for when you're just like bored or something. And for the second one, you want to move them outwards instead. So it basically replicates the CuteCut transitions. Here I'm just fixing some stuff here and there again. And voila, your blinking is smooth. I'm just going to do the other eye now just to show you how it would look. And then of course I'm changing the graph. And boom, your animation's done. Now I'm just going to add a shape and I dropped a flesh color just for the background. It's really up to you, but you're probably going to be doing this with the head. So you do not need to do this. But I'm just going to do it to show you because I don't have a head. I just kind of took the eyes. But I'm just going to make a shape. And I'm going to make the shape bigger. And then I'm just going to drag this shape to the bottom layer. Of course, I'm just narrating this just to show you. But my phone's going to die soon anyways. So now right here, you just want to click the little eyedropper tool. For me, there is. And then just eyedrop the flesh color. And boom, your animation's done.